Hello YouTube, Anime Bar Lounge here to make a very important announcement. I have finally beaten Super Metroid. This is a very big moment for me. Hold your applause, hold your applause. Now I know what you're thinking. Ezra, Metroid Dread just came out. Why did you decide to play Super Metroid? Well, that's exactly why. Because I started playing like Super Metroid like years ago, and then I put it down. And then 2 years ago, I'm like, alright, I should probably, actually play this thing. So I started over and stopped. And then Metroid Dread comes out, and I'm like, I should probably finish Super Metroid. So this time I didn't start over, I resumed my play file. So what happened is, I was in the wrecked ship. That's where I had last saved. I had just beaten Phantoon, but I forgot what I was doing. So I looked at my map, looked at what I had, and thought, yeah, I think we're good here. I don't think there's anything left in the wrecked ship. I think I'm ready to move on. There's this little water area I couldn't get through, so I'm like, doesn't seem like I'm meant to get through here right now. So I backtracked. Got a little lost exploring all of the past areas, but eventually I came upon this big glass tube, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll probably break this with a hyper bomb. And that's of course Maridia, so boom, hyper bomb, and then I start exploring Maridia. Now, the problem is, Samus can't jump very high at base in water, so exploring Maridia is very limited and quite frankly impossible without any upgrades to allow you to freely roam the undersea of Maridia. So I explore as much as I can and try to do some cool high-tech gamer strats to, explore areas that I'm quite obviously not supposed to be able to explore. And then after about an hour and a half, I'm like, alright, there's nothing I can do in Maridia. I'm clearly just looping through the same few rooms over and over again. I must be missing some sort of upgrade that lets me freely travel through water. So then I spent another couple hours going through all the areas I had before, and I was too stubborn to go back to the wrecked ship first. But after a couple hours of kind of realizing I don't think this upgrade is anywhere, it's not in Brinstar, it's not in Norfair, it must be in the wrecked ship. But I didn't think it was in the wrecked ship because I remembered that I had saved after beating Phantoon, and my brain was like, there's no way that I would have not gotten any relevant upgrades in the wrecked ship. But no, it became pretty clear that I beat Phantoon and just saved and didn't other than exploring the map, because the map was mostly finished. And when you first fight, before you fight Phantoon, if I remember correctly, the power's out in the wrecked ship, so you can't quite explore everything. But because I saw the map and it looked like I had explored pretty much everything, I'm like, oh yeah, well I must have gotten anything relevant. So anyway, I would go back to the wrecked ship, and sure enough, there's this spot. If you head up and to the left of the wrecked ship, you hit this area that's outside, and you can tell if you go all the way to the left, there's this little patch where you can obviously, if you bomb, you pop into your morph ball, you go through, hit this room, and you get the gravity suit. And sure enough, the gravity suit's what lets Samus do whatever she wants underwater without any issues. It's also the coolest looking suit in the game. It's this nice purple color, and purple's a pretty solid color, so definitely happy to finally got that gravity suit. Anyway, after grabbing the gravity suit, the rest of the game was not a lot of trouble. I went back to Maridia, kicked its ass, fought Dragon, fought him in the classic way of the way I only know how, which is Oonga Boonga shoot super missile and then regular missiles at it. But later I found out that there's a cool gamer strat where you just let them grab you and start putting spider webs on you, and you just use your grapple hook and you shoot electricity into your body, and you kill. Yeah, you take a lot of damage, but basically insta-kills the boss, so that would have been cool to know, but it looked cool looking it up afterwards, so I can't complain. But yeah, in Maridia, I forget where I got the power-ups, but I think you get the gravity jump in Maridia, and then after that you go to like Norfair again. You get screw attack somewhere in there, and then fought Ridley, and Ridley is a house. I didn't really understand why the fan base always went crazy about Ridley, other than the fact that he has a cool design for a purple dragon looking space hunter. I mean, I could go wrong there, but yeah, Ridley was the hardest boss in this game for me. It took a couple tries to actually take him down. Another thing that's always cool about Super Metroid bosses is that the way you can always be assured to beat a boss is just shooting missiles at them, but then there's usually like some secret strat that's good for beating them, and I didn't realize that Ridley's actually easier to beat if you just use the charged, like, frozen weight, like the ice beam spacer, whatever, charge shot. But yeah, so Ridley was the most memorable boss in that game. And after Ridley, you go to like the room that has like the statues of all the 4 major pirate hunter boss, like, yeah, space pirate bosses. And you hop into an area, and all the Metroids have gone wild because Ridley captured like the little space child, Metroid child. And then you're like, oh shoot, that means he's gotten free. And you can tell, oh no, the Metroids, they're everywhere. And then you get to an area where giant Metroid was the baby that's grown. He basically just devours you, but leaves you at 1 health, and it's like, oh shoot, I almost died and there was nothing I can do. And then you go and fight Mother Brain. Mother Brain's kind of like, I wouldn't say an easy boss, but a pretty straightforward boss. Nothing compared to Ridley. You just kind of blast missiles and call it a day. And then she grows into like this bigger form. Almost looks like a giant dinosaur with a brain on top. And you basically just do the same strat, only now she moves a little bit and is actually a little bit more of a threat. But it gets to a point where it's like it's another scripted event, like the Metroid you just fought, where you basically get downed and almost killed, but only this time the giant Metroid comes in and attacks Mother Brain. You kind of realize that the Metroid kind of recognizes Samus as its caretaker now, and basically takes all of the Mother Brain's energy and shoots some rainbow juice into Samus, and now you can shoot rainbows and kill Mother Brain, but Mother Brain kills the Metroid, which is like very tragic. And then after you beat Mother Brain, you fight the real final boss of every Metroid game, which is this little counter that ticks down and says, hey, get the fuck back to the starting area, you need to get out of here. And you got like 3 minutes to do that. So you basically have 3 minutes to platform your way back. Classic Metroid stuff. And there's an optional thing where you can save the animals. It doesn't really do anything, but basically heartless if you don't do it. So I briefly thought about not doing it, but I thought I had ample time left, so I went and did it, and I didn't die, so that was cool. So yeah, I got the save the animals ending. Let's go. But yeah, you get back in your ship, and that's basically Super Metroid. It was a good game.